Ferrari arrived at Spa with a car that should have been exposed. The SF26 was losing energy on the straights, struggling through the middle sector, and forcing Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc to fight for every fraction of performance. Then the weekend turned chaotic. Hamilton damaged his front wing, received a 5-second penalty, and left the pits before a crucial adjustment was completed. Yet Leclerc finished second, Hamilton recovered to fourth, and Ferrari's race pace crushed almost every expectation created by its problems. There is no confirmed quote saying Fred Vasseur was stunned, but the result left Ferrari's team principal facing one enormous question. Had the team discovered genuine hidden speed, or had its drivers dragged a deeply compromised car far beyond its real limit? The answer could completely change Ferrari's season. Subscribe to the channel. Friday created a dangerous illusion inside Ferrari. For a few hours, the SF26 looked like a car capable of fighting at the very front. Lewis Hamilton opened the weekend with immediate speed. He finished the first practice session only a small distance behind Max Verstappen, then moved to the top of the order in the second session. Charles Leclerc also showed enough pace to strengthen the feeling that Ferrari had arrived at Spa with something special. The timing screens looked promising. The garage had reasons to believe. And after Ferrari's victory at Silverstone, the possibility of another major result no longer felt unrealistic. But Hamilton was not celebrating. He had already felt a weakness that the headline lap times were hiding. On Spa's long straights, the Ferrari was running out of electrical energy too early. That sounds technical, but the effect was simple. The car accelerated strongly at first, then lost part of its power before reaching the braking zone. Imagine trying to overtake another car on a motorway. You press the accelerator, begin moving alongside, and then your engine suddenly stops giving its strongest response before the pass is complete. That was the danger Hamilton faced. The SF26 could begin an attack. It could not always finish it with the same force. Mercedes and McLaren appeared stronger in those areas. Their cars were able to maintain more speed as the straight continued, while Ferrari's advantage began to fade. At Spa, that problem becomes impossible to hide. The circuit contains long sections where speed continues building for several seconds. A small weakness at the beginning of the straight becomes a much larger weakness by the end. It affects overtaking. It affects defending. And it affects how much risk a driver must take through the corner before the straight even begins. Hamilton understood the calculation immediately. If Ferrari could not match its rivals at the end of the straight, he would need to create more speed at the corner exit. But that brought the weekend's second major problem into focus. Ferrari was also struggling through the middle sector. This section of Spa demands confidence, balance, and quick changes of direction. The driver needs the front of the car to respond immediately, while the rear remains stable enough to avoid sliding. Hamilton said the general balance of the Ferrari felt good. That sounded encouraging. The lap time said otherwise. The SF26 could feel reasonable inside the cockpit and still lose time against its rivals. That is one of the most frustrating situations a Formula One team can face. When a car feels terrible, the driver can identify the pain clearly. The front will not grip. The rear is unstable. The tires are overheating. The car is bouncing. But when the balance feels acceptable and the stopwatch remains disappointing, the missing performance becomes much harder to locate. It may not be one dramatic flaw. It may be several smaller losses working together. A little hesitation on corner entry. A little less grip through the middle. A slightly weaker exit. A small energy loss on the following straight. None of those problems looks devastating alone. Together they can remove several positions. And that was the contradiction Ferrari carried through Friday. Hamilton could lead a practice session. Leclerc could run near the front. Yet both drivers could still feel that the car was not giving them complete control. Leclerc's changing performance made that even clearer. He had been competitive in the opening session, finishing close to the leaders. Then later in the day he dropped to 11th. That fall was not simply one disappointing result. It exposed how narrow Ferrari's performance window appeared to be. When the tires, setup, and track conditions aligned, the SF26 could look genuinely fast. When one part of that combination changed, the pace could disappear. Think of balancing a glass near the edge of a table. As long as everything remains perfectly still, it looks secure. One small movement changes the entire situation. Ferrari's car was beginning to feel like that. Fast but fragile. Competitive but only under the right conditions. Promising but never completely trustworthy. That distinction mattered because practice pace can be misleading. A driver may have a light fuel load. The tires may be prepared for one fast lap. The electrical energy can be used aggressively for a short effort. Traffic may be clear. The car only needs to produce maximum performance for a limited moment. A race is completely different. Fuel makes the car heavier. Tires change every lap. Drivers must follow rivals through disturbed air. The energy system must be managed repeatedly. And the same weaknesses return again and again. Hamilton's concern was not that Ferrari could not produce one quick lap. It clearly could. His concern was whether the car could repeat that level of performance throughout an entire Grand Prix. That was the question hiding behind the Friday excitement. And it was a question Ferrari's leadership could not ignore. There is no confirmed statement in the available source saying Fred Vasseur was personally stunned by the result. But he would have understood the contrast facing the team. Ferrari had shown the speed to create expectations. The car had also revealed weaknesses strong enough to destroy them. The engineers now had to decide how to protect one area without damaging another. More downforce could help through the middle sector. Instead, his recovery later in the race became one of the strongest pieces of evidence that Ferrari's race pace was better than expected. But before that could happen, the team had to attempt a rescue. The 5-second penalty needed to be served. The tires needed to be changed. And the front wing needed an adjustment. Ferrari could not fully repair the damage during a normal stop. But the team could change the wing setting to make the car more manageable. It was not a complete solution. It was a way to reduce the problem. Then the virtual safety car created the opportunity. With the field traveling at a controlled lower speed, the relative cost of entering the pit lane became smaller. Ferrari could combine several tasks in one stop. Serve the penalty, change the tires, adjust the wing, release Hamilton quickly enough to preserve the possibility of recovery. This was the moment when Ferrari's race could still be saved. The car stopped. The penalty was served. The mechanics began working. One crew member remained near the front right area, completing the wing adjustment Hamilton needed. Then the release light turned green. Hamilton accelerated. The mechanic was still in front of the car. He was knocked to the ground. Hamilton immediately asked whether he was all right. Ferrari confirmed that he was. Then Hamilton made the crucial point. The light had been green. For the driver, that signal meant the work was complete. It meant the path was safe. It meant leave. Hamilton followed the instruction. But the mechanic had not finished the adjustment. And that created two consequences. The first was human. A crew member had been placed in danger. The second was competitive. The front wing change was never completed. Hamilton returned to the circuit with the same basic handling problem. Ferrari had entered the stop trying to contain the damage. Instead, the team sent Hamilton back into the race carrying it. That should have ended any realistic chance of a strong result. He had the penalty. He had the damaged front end. He had the unfinished adjustment. And he still had the original weaknesses Ferrari had identified on Friday. Yet Hamilton did not disappear. This is where the story begins to change. He adapted. He altered his braking. He managed the front tires. He stopped asking the Ferrari to do what it could no longer do. And he focused on the areas where performance remained available. That sounds simple. It is not. A damaged car punishes instinct. The driver wants to push harder to recover lost time. But pushing harder can make the front tires slide. The sliding creates heat. The heat reduces grip. Then the car becomes even harder to turn. Hamilton had to remain aggressive without crossing that line. He had to find speed through control. And as the race developed, Ferrari's underlying pace began to show. Leclerc remained near the front. Hamilton remained close enough to recover. The SF26 was not dominating. It was not suddenly the fastest car. But it was surviving a race that should have exposed every weakness. That is why the final result carried so much weight. Leclerc reached second place. Hamilton recovered to fourth. One Ferrari achieved a podium. The other finished one position away, despite damage, a penalty, and a failed adjustment. There is no confirmed statement in the available source saying Fred Vasseur was personally stunned. But the result itself would have forced Ferrari's leadership to reconsider the weekend. The car had looked fragile. The drivers had described clear limitations. Hamilton's race had become chaotic. Yet the pace remained strong enough to place both Ferraris near the front. That does not automatically mean the team had discovered a hidden breakthrough. It may mean something more complicated. The SF26 could possess better long-run potential than its qualifying weakness suggested. Or Leclerc and Hamilton may have extracted performance that the car could not deliver comfortably on its own. Those are very different explanations. One gives Ferrari hope. The other gives Ferrari a warning. If the race pace was genuinely built into the car, then the team may have a stronger foundation than expected. The energy system still needs work. The second sector still needs improvement, but the long-run performance could give Ferrari a path forward. If the result came mainly from the drivers compensating, then the situation is less secure. A driver can rescue one weekend. He cannot hide structural weaknesses forever. That is the question Ferrari now had to answer. Was Belgium evidence that the car was better than it looked? Or evidence that the drivers were carrying it? The next part of the race made that question even harder, because Hamilton was about to pass another damaged car with only a few laps remaining. And when he moved into fourth, Ferrari's results stopped looking like simple survival. It began to look like a performance the team itself may not have believed was possible.